time. I know you was in the
100%. So it's a little different for sure. Definitely grateful for the opportunity that we've been given to come out here and showcase our abilities with our teammates. But it's different to be in this indoor facility, and this time you're not putting on practice jersey. So it's a little bit different, but definitely an enjoyable experience, and 100% excited for myself and the guys that I played with for the past 4 years.
What's some of the things that you wanted to kind of showcase to these scouts and teams?
The biggest thing I kind of wanted to show, one, was my explosiveness and quickness at the center position, but also that I have the versatility to play guard as well.
How do you feel like you did today?
I mean, I'll let those guys be the judge of how I guessed it, but ultimately I would think I did everything with myself. That's the biggest thing.
What conversations been like with teams who have talked to you so far?
It's hard to say. Everybody kind of comes in spurts, and so I've talked to a plethora of different teams, but it's kind of hard to say who has the most interest or anything like that.
What do you want them to know about Sedrick and Pran?
The biggest thing I would like for them to know when I get to an organization, I'm coming to win. I'm really willing to play my role, whether that's stepping in day one as a leader or that's supporting the leaders on the team, but my goal is to win.
I asked Brock the same question. This whole process only comes around once for you guys. How do you make sure that you're staying present and that you're understanding that it's happening in real time?
100%. So just to answer your question, I guess the biggest way to stay locked in, staying in the moment, I would say, has to be counting your blessings for sure. I think a lot of times throughout this process, you can, I guess, drive yourself crazy, worrying about the things you may not have this guy saying or, whatever. But the biggest thing is making sure that you count your blessings for how far you have come through the grace of God.
So everybody talks about getting you on the board. They want to get you on the board and diagram. If teams throwing that at you, and how quickly do you embrace doing that? That seems to be one of the things people talk
100%. Doesn't bother me. It's one of my favorite things to do. So we can talk ball all day.
How much of conversations with NFL teams been about playing center versus playing guard?
It mostly depends on the team. I've had some teams ask me specifically about guard, and some teams want to see me at center. So at the end of the day, it's just about having versatility, because in the NFL, sometimes they only travel 7 offensive linemen. So you have to be able to play both, all inside 3 positions.
Since we haven't seen you as much at guard as center, what do you bring as a guard at the next level?
Well, that's hard to say because at the end of the day, you have to play in game for that. That wasn't my role here at Georgia. I did what I was asked to do for the team. So I guess we'll find out.
Tate joked around, said he called you, said he needed help. Were you able to give him much help over there?
What'd you say?
Tate Rowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Said he called you, said he needed help. Were you able to give him much help over the phone?
I'll say this, as far as Tate, the biggest thing I told Tate was just to be himself. The best thing that he can do for himself is continue to be the person that he is. He's a great leader by example. He doesn't need to be Nolan Smith, that's the biggest thing. So it's really just understanding that you're going to be the guy who leads by example, and if you say things from here and there, guys will respect it because you're not the one that's always, I guess, being the vocal guy.
How important is it for Tate and Truss to be back for that offensive line? And alongside those guys, who else might kind of step up as a leader on that group in your absence now?
So to answer your question, I would say Jared Wilson probably will step up the most, along with Ernest Green. But I think it's huge to have Tate and Truss back for the simple fact of once you get those young guys who are hungry, and Jared really isn't young, but he just hasn't had his opportunity to shine yet. So I would say once you get those kind of guys, with guys who are experienced and have really seen it all through the league of the SEC, I think the sky's the limit for those guys.
What does Jared bring to the table? Take on the freak athlete.
Yeah, exactly what Tate said. Jared is a freak athlete, explosiveness. One thing that I think people underestimate about Jared is that he's extremely smart. Jared does a tremendous job of being able to dissect what the defense is giving him, being able to make those ID points, and also just, I guess, digesting what's going on right in front of him in a split second. So once you add that, understanding the offense and then how explosive and good of an athlete he is, it's amazing what he can do.
Said you have a lot of former teammates that are in the NFL now. What have they told you about the next level to help you out?
So the biggest thing they told me was, one, yes, the draft would be very emotional for good reasons and bad reasons, but the biggest thing is getting over it as fast as possible. Once you get there, no one cares where you're drafted, no one cares whether you're a top guy, you're younger. If you can play football, you can play football. And that was the biggest thing, is just making sure that you can kind of flip that switch and kind of get back into playing football. And then another thing that they said was make sure you come in the best shape as possible, because it'll be a really, really long year for the rookies.
With Jared, what is it about his athleticism?
You said, what is it about his athleticism? So One, he's quick and he's fast. He can jump really high. His level of quickness is ridiculous. I'm trying not to say too much. You'll just have to see it for yourself.
Is there anything ceremonial or some? Is there anything ceremonial or some kind of proper send-off for you guys after this, or is it just a good riddance, go to the NFL?
Good riddance to the NFL. I wanted to get to you.
Sure. What will you miss the most about that?
What will I miss the most? I'll say I'll miss Coach Smart getting on us on the mic, but I'll definitely miss my teammates. That's the biggest thing for me, and I think it'll be the hardest adjustment is kind of leaving these guys not necessarily behind, but not seeing them every day. The guys you built these connections with, spending time with outside of football. So it'd be hard to leave those guys behind.
What is it about George Sedrick that he said